local.com.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at Noon.
Right now at noon, narrowing the list of potential suspects in the Nancy Guthrie case. A description of her alleged abductor is now out. Back here at home, a shocking Chicago robbery caught in broad daylight. The search for suspects now underway. Good afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us here. I'm Natalie Bompke. Sylvia has the day off. We want to give you a look at the forecast. First and foremost, one of our headlines today. It's like we're in Miami, Caitlin. That's what it's like if we could just eliminate those ice chunks floating on Lake Michigan.
Squint your eyes and you won't see the ice.
There you go.
Yeah, it is fantastic outside. Blue sky, blue Lake Michigan. It is mild, too. And it's Friday. This whole weekend is going to be fabulous. This upcoming week, the warm temperatures continue. Looking at our sky cover, satellite and radar shows just how quiet it is. A few fair weather clouds possible today, but that's about it. Temperatures ranging in the 40s and 50s. Right now, it's 46 degrees at the lakefront, 48 at O'Hare and Midway. It is downright balmy. In our southwestern areas like LaSalle, Grundy, Kankakee County, you are in the low 50s. Northwest Indiana, temperatures for you, most of you, mid to upper 40s. I do see a 50 there in Gary, though. For our day planner, temperatures, as mentioned, in the low 50s this afternoon and this evening, 7 p.m., still quiet, 43 degrees. We are going to have temperatures nice and toasty again tomorrow, reaching around 50, and then 55 on Sunday. So the temperatures are going up even on Sunday. And there's no rain in the forecast until we get into next week. Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday. That's when you have the potential for some scattered showers. But we also could be seeing a 60-something degree temperature day next week. In the meantime, the 50s, we'll take it. That's about 20 degrees above where we should be for this time of year. Back to you.
Thank you, Caitlin. Police are investigating yet another attack on the CTA, this time on the Green Line. Officers say a man was stabbed in the face last night at the Bronzeville station on 47th Street. The 44-year-old was treated at the scene and taken to a local hospital in fair condition. No one is in custody. A violent attack in Fulton Market. A man robbed at gunpoint. This happened in broad daylight. It was all caught on camera. Our Saquon spoke to one official about concerns.
We are here in Fulton Market, just along Lake and Peoria, and I'll step aside here so you can see what we're seeing. This is the sidewalk that you're looking at, where a man was pinned at gunpoint and beat by two male suspects before those suspects stole his items and took off. You can see here this morning, Chicago police squad car pulled up, and they are in that business right now, talking with people, and it looks like it's likely part of this investigation. I want you to take a look at this video here. It is a little graphic. As you mentioned, this happened during broad daylight yesterday, just a little before sunset at around 4:30. Now, according to police, at least one of the suspects pulled out a gun and demanded items from the victim while the other suspect beat him. One of the suspects got the victim's items in their hands, and that is when they took off in the Range Rover seen in this video. I checked this morning, and the numbers of violent crimes reported, specifically when it comes to robberies, are actually down in Chicago. The city has this online dashboard that shows you something called violence and victimization trends. And here's what I found. In 2020, when crime rates were historically high across the country, you can see robbery victimizations across Chicagoland were up. Compare this to just last year, those numbers dropped by a lot, especially towards the tail end of 2025. I spoke with the executive director of Fulton Market Association, and he tells me that the need is great for additional security cameras in the area.
We've asked for these cameras from the local aldermen and from the police department over the past several years. And so we have not gotten the kind of response that we want. And so we want these police cameras installed, and they need to be installed because, again, if it wasn't for this Good Samaritan taking this video, no one would have seen how horrible this event was. And so we've got to have these cameras.
As of now, investigators say they are looking into the robbery that happened here in Fulton Market, just along Lake and Peoria, with the suspect still on the run. In Fulton Market, Saquon, Fox Chicago.
Just terrifying. The FBI has increased the reward for tips leading to the arrest of the Nancy Guthrie kidnapper to $100,000. The mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie has been missing for nearly 2 weeks now. We have a live report out of Tucson in just a few minutes with new suspect details. And happening right now, students are holding a walkout against ICE in Aurora. This comes after a walkout on Monday led to clashes with police. Officers say 3 students were arrested for their behavior. However, one student claims officers used excessive force. The Kane County State's Attorney's Office now conducting an independent review. More student walkouts are planned for today, including in Bolingbrook and at Lakeview High School. The Village of Dalton is suing Fifth Third Bank. Lawsuit claims former Mayor Tiffany Henyard stole $1.9 million in public funds. The Sun-Times reports the bank cashed more than 250 checks to village vendors. They were signed by Henyard, but not signed by the village clerk, which is required by village ordinance. The alleged activity happened between April of 2022 and May of 2023. Henyard served as mayor until May of 2025, until she lost the election to current mayor Jason House. She has faced multiple investigations into alleged mismanagement of village funds. The Department of Homeland Security is set to run out of funding tonight. We're taking you live to the nation's capital for a live look at the Capitol, where lawmakers failed to reach a deal over funding for the Department of Homeland Security. Republicans want a short-term funding extension, but Democrats are demanding serious changes to immigration enforcement, including a ban of face masks for ICE agents.
ICE has plenty of money, and that vote to shut DHS down will have no functional impact on ICE.
The normalization of shutdowns is a stupid and very costly process in terms of morale of our federal employees who see themselves as pawns.
FEMA and the TSA will be impacted here. That agency, FEMA, has millions of dollars on hand to continue responding to emergencies, we're told, during the partial shutdown. TSA agents are not expected to miss a paycheck until mid-March, so hopefully they get it resolved by then. 4 states, including Illinois, will continue receiving public health care grants for now. A federal judge temporarily blocked the Trump administration from cutting more than $600 million in funding. The judge says the cuts were based on, quote, arbitrary and unconstitutional reasons. The Sun-Times says the grants support programs like HIV and lead poisoning prevention. The Trump administration contends the programs impacted do not reflect the CDC's priorities. More news here on Fox 32 News at noon. Another partial government shutdown almost inevitable as many lawmakers have left Washington, D.C. The deadline midnight tonight. We'll talk more about that. And a former CNN anchor faces a judge today over an immigration protest.
Right.
Christmas. Call now.
The FBI is now doubling its reward to $100,000 as the search for Nancy Guthrie approaches a 2-week point here. Amalia Roy live in Tucson, Arizona, right outside the Pima County Sheriff's Department with updates in the case. And Amalia, we understand there's been, I don't know if you could call it a dust up, but something similar to that between the Pima County Sheriff's officials and the FBI.
Yes, that we have that money that is going towards a reward for any information that leads to them finding Nancy, or that leads to any information that gets an arrest or conviction to whoever was responsible for taking her. At this point, investigators from both departments are begging for any more information. The FBI did release a detailed description of a possible suspect. This is coming off of the security video that they released a few days ago showing an armed man walking up towards Nancy's doorstep trying to cover up the camera. And it shows that they're looking for a male around 5'9", 5'10", with an average build. They say he's wearing an Ozark Trail Hiker backpack in that video. The FBI is also providing a clear picture of the bag they believe he was wearing. It's a brand primarily sold at Walmart or on its website. Meanwhile, there's been a renewed focus around Nancy's neighborhood and her house over the last few days. Yesterday, we saw a forensics tent briefly go up over Nancy's front porch. Meanwhile, sources also tell Fox News that at some point during the investigation, Pima County detectives collected a glove from inside Nancy's home. According to those sources, Sheriff Chris Nanos withheld that evidence from the FBI and sent the glove to a private lab in Florida instead of the FBI's lab in Quantico, Virginia. Speaking to local reporters, Nanos denied there's any tensions between his department and the feds. Retired FBI agent James Galliano says the glove could be a crucial piece of evidence.
Every day we seem to be hearing about more and different and more voluminous evidence that's being harvested. And to your point in regards to the glove inside the home, now investigators are going to attempt to try to find some type of trace DNA on that and test that, whether there's sloughed off skin cells, any perspiration inside of there, anything hair and fiber related. And that's the kind of stuff that they're going to be looking to conduct forensic examinations on to continue to build out the profile on who this suspect is.
There's a growing memorial outside Nancy's house where people keep dropping off flowers. They are wishing the best for the 84-year-old and hoping that she's brought home safely. The Pima County Sheriff's Department is also directly asking the public for any information within a 2-mile radius, showing video that they have of pedestrians, traffic, any vehicles, anything that looks suspicious. In Tucson, Arizona, Amalia Roy, Fox Chicago.
During my campaign, I promised to cut 10, and we've exceeded that. We've instead done it 10 regulations. We were able to cut 129, so now we cut 129.
The Trump administration reversing an Obama-era ruling known as the endangerment finding. This move allows the EPA to stop regulating pollution from cars, trucks, and power plants. Critics say the repeal could threaten public health, with Democrats and environmental groups expected to challenge the move in court. The Trump administration says the move will make automobiles less expensive.
What that means is lower prices, more choices, and an end of heavy-handed climate policies.
The repeal will hurt kids with asthma. The repeal will hurt homeowners and destabilize insurance markets.
In 2007, the Supreme Court affirmed that greenhouse gases are air pollutants subject to federal regulation under the Clean Air Act. A federal judge is blocking the Pentagon from taking action against Senator Mark Kelly. Kelly was among a group of lawmakers who released a video telling service members that they can refuse what they deem as illegal orders. War Secretary Pete Hegseth tried to formally censure the retired Navy captain, calling the video seditious. A demotion could have slashed Kelly's military retirement pay. But in his ruling, the judge said defendants have trampled on Senator Kelly's First Amendment freedoms and threatened the constitutional liberties of millions of military retirees.
I know it has had a chilling effect on other service members because they have told me that they have changed what they say and what they do because of this president and this Secretary of Defense and what they are doing to me.
Hegseth posted on X saying the decision will be immediately appealed, I should say. A top lawyer for Goldman Sachs stepping down after emails reveal a close relationship to Jeffrey Epstein. The latest emails released by the DOJ showed Kathy Rumler describing Epstein as a, quote, older brother and seemingly downplaying his sex crimes. She has served as Goldman Sachs' top lawyer since 2020. Her resignation goes into effect on June 30th. Today, journalist Don Lemon set to be arraigned in federal court in Minnesota. Lemon and the four other individuals were indicted for alleged roles in disrupting a Sunday church service where an ICE official is allegedly a pastor. Now, it was not clear ahead of the hearing if Lemon planned to personally appear or maybe let his legal team handle the hearing, so we'll find out. Lemon says he plans to plead not guilty to federal civil rights charges.
Ignition and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Dragon, and Godspeed Crew 12.
And liftoff. Freedom flies bound for the International Space Station. 1.7 million pounds of thrust now propelling.
A new SpaceX crew blasted off from Cape Canaveral this morning, headed for the International Space Station. NASA says they should arrive at the orbiting lab tomorrow. And while they're there, they'll conduct 250 experiments over an 8-month period, focusing on growing food in space and how the body absorbs nutrients in zero gravity. That sounds like they're preparing for a trip to Mars, does it not? NASA's next mission, sending astronauts around the moon, and that could happen next month or in April. And I am so excited because I personally know one of the astronauts aboard that shuttle.
Excuse me?
Yes, I do. Jessica Meir. And I met her when I lived in Houston, and she's one of my best friends is best friends with her. So that's how I met her.
What?
And my friend was there for the launch in Cape Canaveral this morning.
No way.
Super excited. Yes.
Yeah. Why didn't you have her live with us while she was taking off?
Right. Why didn't I? I don't know.
Connection, Natalie.
I need to really, question my priorities in life, I think.
Wow.
But the good news is we have wonderful weather here.
Yeah, here on the ground, it is actually quite lovely in Chicago, which hasn't been the case. I think we are all ready for the warmer weather and sunshine. We get both today. You can see behind me how bright blue it is from the lake to the sky. 48 degrees outside currently at the lakefront as well as O'Hare. I do see the low 50s from Joliet to Morris to LaSalle, 52 degrees, 51 in Kankakee, temperatures in northwest Indiana, 50 degrees in Gary, 44 in Valpo, 47 in Merrillville. So the temperatures already feel good. We're going to be climbing a couple more degrees, hovering around 50 as our high today. But even tonight, it will be mild, staying in the 30s, which I'll show you here hour by hour. 4:15 again, 50 degrees. Get outside, enjoy this, go for a walk. If you can't, that's okay because we're going to continue to be mild through the weekend and even into next week with very minimal weather happening. And what I mean by that is maybe a few fair weather clouds, but that's it. Tonight, as mentioned, staying in the 30s, dropping down to about 31 degrees into early tomorrow. And then tomorrow we're back to about 50. And then we're tacking on a couple of degrees for the second half of your weekend. So we're cruising through. This is Sunday morning into the afternoon. And here we are, 1:15 on Sunday, and you can see 53 degrees. So it is going to be a wonderful, mild weekend. Next week, we start off Monday with 57, and then 55 expected on Tuesday, which our normal high is 35, to give you some perspective here, how above normal we are. Now, there is a chance for rain returning Tuesday night, Wednesday, as well as on Thursday. But until then, dry skies are expected, and the temperatures are going to be phenomenal just in time for your Valentine's weekend. Natalie.
Thank you, Caitlin. We continue to celebrate Black History Month here at Fox Chicago, and today's monument moment takes us to Bronzeville, home to the nation's only memorial for the African-American soldiers who served in World War I.
In the heart of Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood stands what is believed to be the country's only monument honoring African-American soldiers of World War I. The Victory Monument at 35th and King Drive was erected in 1927 and dedicated on Armistice Day 1928. after a long campaign for recognition by the Chicago Defender, the nation's most influential African-American newspaper. Made of bronze and granite and topped with the statue of an African-American doughboy, the monument is dedicated to the 8th Regiment of the Illinois National Guard, an all-black unit that fought in multiple campaigns in France during the Great War. The names of 137 8th Infantry members who lost their lives in World War I are inscribed on a bronze panel. In 1986, the Victory Monument was added to the National Register of Historic Places. And every Memorial Day, a ceremony is held here to remember the black soldiers who fought for freedom in Europe, when they themselves still weren't fully free at home.
500,000 Americans visit emergency rooms each year to combat kidney stones, but now there's a new breakthrough. We're going to show you the micro robots that are trained to shrink the stones before surgery is even required. In today's Health Watch, experts are sounding the alarm about the rising number of colon cancer cases, specifically in young people. This comes after the death of actor James Van Der Beek at the age of 48, who was diagnosed with the disease in 2023. Doctors say early detection remains the key here. People who have risk factors like a family history of colon cancer are advised to start getting that colonoscopy when they are 40.
Mutations can occur that can lead to polyps, which are small growths that over time can turn into cancer. We can find polyps, which are small growths that can turn into cancer.
According to the American Cancer Society, roughly 150,000 Americans are diagnosed with colorectal cancer every year. And a breakthrough in the medical field. Canadian scientists have developed magnetic micro robots that can help dissolve kidney stones in just a few days. Researchers at the University of Waterloo say the grain of rice-sized strips are guided by magnets They release an enzyme that shrinks uric acid stones by about 30% in 5 days. The remaining fragments can then pass naturally, potentially eliminating the need for surgery. But here's the catch. They still need to be fully tested on humans. We'll be right back here on Fox 32 News at noon.
Content of this ad.
Welcome back. Here's a look at some of the stories we're following today at noon. Police are investigating yet another attack on the CT at Green Line. Officers say a man was stabbed in the face last night at the Bronzeville station on 47th Street. The 44-year-old was treated at the scene and taken to a local hospital in fair condition. No one is in custody. The Department of Homeland Security just hours away from running out of money. The final chance to fund the department before tonight's deadline failed yesterday, blocked by Democrats who are holding out for changes in immigration enforcement. After midnight, the TSA says it will stop paying 63,000 workers. FEMA and the Coast Guard also get cut off. We're going to check the weather for you outside, and I'm going to take a little closer look here because my eyesight is not as great as it used to be.
Take a gander,
48
Natalie.
degrees out there, Caitlin. That has to be the warmest at this time that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I was looking close to see if I saw any people moving along the lake. I think I see a few people out there, Nat.
Great, take advantage of it.
We still have that pancake ice happening, but the melting is underway. I love this shot, though, because the sky is a different shade of blue than the water, and you can really see it, that image. It's stunning. Whatever you have planned outside today, this weekend, next week, it's going to be mild for it. So finally, we can get rid of the snow in your backyard. Satellite radar showing it's wonderful looking outside, too. So we do have the blue sky in Chicago, but not only in our city. Just a few fair weather clouds I see in Will County, Kankakee County, a cloud here or there. There's no rain, though, expected. And the temperatures, I'll show you that map in a moment, but we are creeping into the 50s today. Soaring through the weekend and into next week. The mild spring-like weather with this stunning weekend ahead. Cannot wait to be outdoors. So here's your temperatures right now. Lunchtime hour, it is about 49 degrees from the lakefront to O'Hare and Midway, 50 in Gary, 51 from Aurora to Morris, 52 in Kankakee. So temperatures are going to be in the low 50s today. Here's your next 48 hours. Sky cover, minimal, as mentioned, mostly sunny skies. This evening, back down to the low 40s. And then tonight, we're staying in the 30s. So it's not going to be too cold tonight, dropping down to about 31 is our low. Tomorrow, we're back to about 50 degrees. And then we're down to the 30s again Saturday night into early Sunday. Sunday will be wonderful, too, approaching the mid-50s. So for today, highs, as mentioned, across the board, upper 40s to low 50s with beautiful blue sky. Tonight, we're dropping down to about 31 for Chicago. Outlying areas, you could be in the upper 20s, north along the Wisconsin border, northwest Indiana hovering at about 30. And then for tomorrow, we're going to have a really nice day again. Temperatures in the 40s near the lake, but 50s inland. And really, as mentioned, that's going to be the case. You can see it in our 7-day forecast day after day. 55 on Sunday, Monday 57. Dry to start off the week. Quiet conditions continue. Tuesday at 55. Then we have the chance for rain back Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, the chance for scattered showers. But look at Wednesday's high. We could be tagging 60. Nice conditions continuing into next week. Really, this entire month, we're looking ahead. Looks like we could be staying above normal with these temperatures. Natalie?
Fantastic. All right. We've already been through the worst of it. Thank you, Caitlin. As we celebrate Black History Month, Chicago's first poet laureate is partnering with the Lyric Opera to bring audiences along for a musical journey through time. Sophronia tells the tale of the Great Migration and its ongoing significance to the city's culture today. Anita Blanton had the chance to sit down with the poet who just penned his first operatic score.
Generations of Chicagoans have come here to the Lyric Opera House, eager for the next big performance, a memorable night. But the next act, well, a local poet is behind it, and he's hoping that by sharing a movement that transformed this city, he might also transform the art form.
Avery, tell me about your love for poetry. One day at 8, I wrote a poem in response to some really crazy things a third grade teacher told me. And I got in trouble in the classroom for just like immediately clapping back. But when I put that same kind of energy into words, people were like, oh my gosh, Avery, that is beautiful. And I learned right then and there, say it in a poem. And it works out so much better for you.
Who poured into you to encourage you to continue to grow that love?
Just poetry itself. Mama Sonia and Baba Haki, Mama Angela Jackson, the things that they were saying about this human experience through the Black lens was just something that I was always around, because then you go to church and you hear a sermon or you hear soul training. We have a very unique way when it comes to wording what we experience. And I was like, I can do that. I can do that all day long, and I have.
So all this time then leads you to the moment where you become the first poet laureate for the city.
Wow.
And what an incredible accomplishment.
Thank you.
Why do you think you were chosen as the first?
Because I'm fly. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I can only believe it's just been my service in teaching young folks poetry throughout the years, and I've taught everybody. I'm really the uncle of the poetry scene in Chicago. It's wild style, and I think that level of service is what landed me in that position.
Tell me the story behind Sophronia.
The story behind Sophronia is loosely based and inspired by my great-grandparents' migration from Lexington, Mississippi up to Chicago. As you know, that between 1910s and the 1970s, an estimated 6 million Black folk traveled from the rural South to the west part of America, the Midwest, and the northern parts of America. My great-grandparents came through that second wave to Chicago, and that's where we're at in the story. We start with the family coming back to this place that they were banished from to grant the patriarch's last wish was to lay his ashes down on this land that he owns. We get that day that he loses it, and the day they come back to lay his ashes down, and there's like a wedding anniversary in the middle. And we do all of that to the scoring of music that I grew up on. We have gospel, blues, funk, soul, in the midst of this lyric opera house that tells the story of the trauma caused by such domestic terrorism, but also the resilience of the people and how they actually literally rock and roll through that trauma, because that's exactly what you see. You see them rocking and rolling through an horrific experience. What I wanted to make very clear and be very intentional on was the style of music. So this opera is not Euro-centered in its composition. It's definitely, put yourself in the mind of Curtis Mayfield conducting Parliament Funkadelic with the Staple Singers and Denise Williams doing the singing. It's wild style.
My mind's going like this.
It's wild style in that sense. But one of the things that why it's that is because I don't believe people in this city, Chicagoans, or people in America in general, don't understand the accessibility to opera. Opera seems to be this rich white thing that rich white people get to do. But this is a pure work of celebrating what makes us, us.
And on a final note, what does it mean to you to bring this to life in 2026?
There's double meaning. One is I feel like I'm embarking on the next phase of my artistic career, because I actually like opera, or like what you can do with opera. You know, it gives. It gives. But I also believe that this work is going to convince people who have never been to the opera before that they should come. It will convince the opera world to give more opportunities to stories like this with this kind of musical treatment. I would like to say that 2026 was the year something new happened in opera.
Anita Blanton, Fox, Chicago.
He is quite a character, isn't he? Sophronia opens to audiences April 17th and 18th. Tickets are available right now on lyricopera.org, and they start at $44. I was just pulling up the website here for you. Ring is reconsidering a partnership that some people say kind of gave them the creeps. How it all started with a Super Bowl ad. That is next.
Sleep.
licensed in COPD.
Outrage over a Super Bowl ad is causing the maker of the Ring camera to call off a planned partnership. It will no longer be collaborating with Flock Safety, a police surveillance tech company. The tech connects Ring cameras to find lost pets. The ad, though, raised privacy concerns. Ring says the integration never launched, so its customers' videos were not sent to Flock Safety. All right, let's get you caught up on the stock market here. Taking a live look, it looks like the Dow is trading up 202 points. And now it's time to look at your business headlines with CJ Papa.
A sign inflation is cooling. Price increases moderated in January. The consumer price index rose just 0.2% for the month and 2.4% on an annual basis. Both numbers showed improvement and were below economists' predictions. The improvements in the reading are especially encouraging, since the January reading is often skewed by companies raising prices at the start of the year following the holiday season. Airbnb's profit declined in recent months from a year earlier. Its earnings were weaker than forecast, though it had expenses related to expanding. Airbnb has started partnering with boutique hotels in some locations and has been offering more experiences along with vacation rentals. High prices for new cars are pushing Americans to opt out of fancy versions of models, instead choosing a basic option. Reuters says affordable cars have not been this hot for decades. Cox Automotive tells Reuters average prices are around $50,000. Many fully loaded models cost more than many buyers can or want to spend. And fast food chain Steak and Shake is banning all microwaves from its restaurants by April 15th. It says it's to improve food quality and use traditional methods of cooking only. That's business. CJ Papa, Fox Chicago. /tickets.
Police in the west suburbs have a new tool to reel in, literally, criminals on the run. Anita Blanton kicks off our Chicago Live interviews with the police chief of Oak Brook. Hey, Anita.
Hey, Natalie. We know that high-speed pursuits, of course, can quickly become very dangerous for everyone involved and innocent bystanders who might be in the way at some point in time. So by all means, let's get more information about what's described as a mitigation tool from Oak Brook Police Chief Brian Strokis. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You know, I would love for you to explain how this works, the grappler.
Yeah, so the grappler is our latest tool to mitigate the risks associated with police pursuits. It basically is a tethered net affixed to the front of our squad car that's operated by the driver of the vehicle, obviously the officer. And when the officer can get close enough to the rear wheel of the fleeing offending vehicle, it entangles in that tire and disables that vehicle and then tethers to the frame of the squad car, ultimately bringing that car to a stop safely.
Wow. And this would be an alternative to, say, a pit maneuver. Pit maneuvers have become quite controversial, even here locally, but across the country. So explain the difference in terms of what became controversial with pit maneuvers and how this could be a better alternative for you all.
Yeah, so we have officers trained in the pit maneuver. It has to be at speeds lower than 40 miles an hour. Otherwise, it's considered deadly force. So obviously, there's a lot of hesitation with utilizing that technique, even though it can be effective. But this device allows us to do the same thing, essentially, in a more safe manner. When a tire is spiked, we have many different types of tire deflation devices that we utilize often with all these cars that flee from the police. And when that happens, oftentimes the vehicle continues at a slow rate of speed for a very long duration. And I envision this device picking up those pursuits and getting close enough to a vehicle that's not traveling very fast, but bringing that incident to a very quick ending.
Yeah, ultimately, from a city perspective, I'm sure from a department perspective, this has to be seen as an investment in public safety. I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that, and even if you can give us an idea of the price tag for something like this and outfitting your entire fleet.
Yeah, we have a very strong zero tolerance for crime philosophy here in Oak Brook. We're fortunate to be in DuPage County. State's Attorney Bob Berlin prosecutes these crimes to the fullest extent of the law. And I'm extremely fortunate to have such a supportive mayor, President Herman, and the entire village board that makes significant investments in technology to keep our community safe and to keep our officers safe. There's a lot of towns, a lot of jurisdictions that simply refuse to engage in police pursuits, and they are dangerous. They're inherently dangerous, one of the most dangerous things that we do. But it's also dangerous to have no real consequences for criminal actions. And so we take the stance that we're going to utilize technology, we're going to utilize tactics, and we're going to utilize training to bring these incidents to a stop and to prosecute criminals that commit crimes out here.
Was it expensive?
It's not cheap. One thing that I always say is that policing the right way is very expensive, but I promise you policing the wrong way is more expensive.
There you go. Yeah, it pays off to do it this way for sure. So pull back the curtain a little bit more. And you have at times here, as we've been speaking, into just how quickly things can even escalate into a pursuit of this nature and the split-second decisions that have to be made along the way.
Yeah, I think that it's become really an epidemic in our area and throughout the country, that criminals think that they can just commit a crime and flee from the police, and we're going to turn off our lights and go in the opposite direction. And we simply do not operate that way out here in DuPage County, and certainly not in Oak Brook. We want to mitigate all the risks involved. It is, of course, dangerous for the public. It's dangerous for the bad guy. It's dangerous for the officers. But we have seen over and over again crimes that some people would call property crimes, when ultimately they're offenders in stolen vehicles, repeat offenders, heavily armed offenders that are coming into this jurisdiction with bad intentions. And we're not going to allow that to happen. And we're going to utilize all the technology that our village board provides us to make sure that we do that as safely as possible.
Chief Strokis, we appreciate you and your entire department. Love Oak Brook, so thank you for keeping everyone safe. Thank thank you so much for your time. Have a great weekend.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And that's just the start of our conversations for Chicago Live today, everyone. We're also going to be talking about a rally happening this weekend. We'll speak with the rally organizer, in fact. This is calling for President Trump to make some military action, to push for more military action against Iran. We're also going to talk about homeschooling, as it seems that more and more parents are choosing that option for their children. And, you know, with Valentine's Day coming up this weekend, it's an important time to remind people that love should not physically hurt. So I'm going to be speaking with the CEO of the group behind the first domestic violence shelter that was built in the city in more than a decade, on what they're doing to make sure that survivors feel loved, safe, and special this weekend and throughout the year. So all of that is coming up between 1 and 4 p.m. on Chicago Live. Online, we'll catch everybody on YouTube, Fox Local, and Fox32Chicago.com. Hope to see you there.
Stream
Call now.
People are coming together to fundraise for Dawson's Creek actor James Vanderbeek's family after he passed this week from colon cancer. Jake is here now with that story and others in the entertainment world. And I remember, I think we all kind of first learned about his diagnosis when he was selling a jersey.
Yeah, actually, I bought one. He was signing Varsity Blues jerseys and selling them to kind of raise money for that. And yes, this sort of keeps that going. So donations and tributes continue to pour in for actor James Vanderbeek. A GoFundMe set up to help his family has now reached over $2 million. The Varsity Blues and Dawson's Creek actor passed away Wednesday after a long battle with colorectal cancer. The actor's battle with cancer has caused financial strain for his family due to the high medical costs. Steven Spielberg was the latest celebrity to make a donation of $25,000. The GoFundMe says any donations will help cover living expenses, pay bills, and support his 6 children's education. Next up, HGTV has canceled the Detroit-based show Rehab Addict after leaked video showed its host, Nicole Curtis, using a racial slur. The video released by Radar Online was reportedly from a shoot 2 years ago. HGTV has not confirmed if that incident prompted the decision, but the network called the language hurtful and disappointing and removed all episodes from its platforms. Curtis has since apologized in a comment on Instagram yesterday. She said that she will be speaking live and releasing the raw footage today. Next up, the new period romance Wuthering Heights. We were just talking about this, set to heat up the box office over the weekend. The Margot Robbie, Jacob Elordi drama is expected to earn a little more than $80 million worldwide over the next few days, capitalizing on the romantic weekend and that classic dinner and a movie date.
There are moments in our lives when we arrive at a crossroads.
You did not answer my letter.
Because I do not wish to see you.
What do you mean to do?
Being your mistress is the last thing I would ever want.
How else am I to be with a woman society has made it impossible for me to be with?
You must be brave. You cannot let fear stop you from letting your heart speak.
Sophie.
Mr. Bridgerton, do you need something?
No. I found it.
Good line, dude. We finally have the first look at the highly anticipated part 2 of the new Bridgerton season. The first 4 episodes of the season dropped earlier this month. We're going to get the conclusion to the story when the final 4 episodes drop on February 26th. Bridgerton is one of Netflix's most popular streaming series. The stars are actually going to join us on Fox 32 News in a couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
Those 2 leads.
What
yeah,
a great
yeah.
get.
No, not in person. Not
Caitlin
in
was all
person.
amped up.
Not
She
in
thought it would be
person.
another
No,
Ryan
via Zoom.
Gosling
You can jump
moment.
in. You can jump in.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.